Welcome back to the Gangcast, aka the Games and Not Games podcast. I'm Janet Garcia, and joining me as always is Isaiah Smith.
Hello and welcome.
I don't know which side you're going to be on, so I couldn't gesture to you. We're doing this.
I'll probably on your
ever,
left. The viewers,
the first
right.
ever remote in-person podcast.
Yes. I'm going to slightly turn so that I'm looking at virtually you.
Which way do I turn to look at you? Are you
You're left. You're the other way. Yeah, I'll probably be over there.
Great to see you. How are you?
Boom. There you
This is
go.
fist bumping across Discord. We've been gone for like a long time. Last episode was 2 months, almost 2 months ago, February 23rd. We got hit with life pretty hard for all like good things. Nothing bad happened, but we moved apartments and we had GDC.
Yep.
I feel like one other thing happened, maybe.
Oh man, yeah. Was it somebody get sick? Was Bruce sick?
Maybe.
No, something. I feel like there was something else. Yeah, there was a lot.com. There was a lot going on. I left start a new job. That's what it was.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, it was also.
We like lived so many lives in the last like 6 weeks, basically.
Yeah. There was a lot, but it was all good, right? You know, it's like upgrades all around in personal, professional life, for the show, for Bruce, for everyone involved. I think it's safe to say things have gotten at least a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so. But now we're finally back, just crawling from the dust. We are here, a phoenix from the ashes with this podcast. But we are going to be talking about Slay the Spire 2 for games and our moving Odyssey for not games. So are you ready to kick it off and talk games?
Let's talk games.
Slay the Spire 2. It actually feels like I am literally on our YouTube channel being like, did we not talk about this game yet? Because that's how long it's been. So many games have come out since we've last done the show. And yeah, Slay the Spire 2 hit early access. We have both been playing it. I want to kick this off by talking about what is our background with Slay the Spire 1. And then, of course, we'll get into the Slay the Spire 2 of it all. So what is your S2S, STS background? STS is that podcast I listen to sometimes, but
so Slay the Spire 1, man, had a chokehold on me. It was one of those games that it sort of, I feel like it kind of like defined what the roguelike deck builder experience is, right? Where it's, you are drafting cards, you're using these cards to fight monsters as you go along a path, ultimately fighting maybe some bosses along the way, and then trying to complete a full run that further unlocks either new ways to then do runs, whether in Slay the Spire they call them ascensions. Some games might just unlock new characters with their own kind of deck mechanics. Some might unlock new sort of twists on runs and new pickups that you might get, or new drops that you might face and things like that. I feel like Slay the Spire kind of started it. If it didn't start it, it definitely was the thing that put it on the map, right? Like it was the best one. And yeah, no, I played it everywhere. I bought it on Steam. I bought it on phone. I think I had it on console. I don't remember if it was. I know it was on Switch, and I have it on Switch, or at least had it on Switch. But yeah, no, I bought this game multiple times over, played through it all. Loved. I was a silent main. I loved playing a silent with my little poison, my little daggers, my little sneak kind of deck building and everything like that, and it was great. And man, I put so many hours into it, and then I eventually introduced. Is it fair to say I introduced you to Slay the Spire?
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that actually. When you brought Slay the Spire to me, what did you expect to come from that, and like, were you surprised by how taken I was by the game?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm trying to like fully get the timeline right. I don't remember if you did Slay the Spire before Hollow Knight, right?
Ooh, no, I did it after. So I can set up the things while you kind of like go back in your mind palace and see how things were. But what had happened was, I had played Clair Obscur, which I believe I played after Silksong. I never played Hollow Knight in a real way. I played like 10 minutes at one point, and I was like, this is way too hard. I'm confused. I'm gonna leave. Then I tried Silksong, and there were definitely some pain points, but I was really into that. Clair Obscur comes out. I play that. I loved the synergy. I think I told this story before on the podcast, but for those who don't know, I loved the synergies in Clair Obscur. And your moves also feel very like reminiscent of card games, because like a card game is inherently a turn-based game, and this is a turn-based RPG. And also some of the things, I mean, one of the characters has cards, so it's like because we're levitating around her. So it definitely had a lot of synergies, which is not new to RPGs by any means, but that was a big part of Clair Obscur. And I loved that feeling and playing with essentially like, again, it's not used that term, but like your build, because you have like a character build in that, through how you equip the Pictos and how you like spend your Lumina points or whatever. And that influences how you play in a way that, if I kind of describe it without the RPG of it all, it does sound very similar to what a deck building card game is like. You're playing with synergies, you're experimenting with your build, you get things that change how you play or introduce you to new ways of play. And I'm like, where do I go after this? That is also combined with the Nintendo Switch 2 of it all, where during the Nintendo Switch 2 era, Nintendo introduced, I'm going to butcher the name they use for it. I think they use Game Share, I think is what they call it. But it's the system in which if you are on a Nintendo Switch Online family plan with people, you can game share. Like, I can send my virtual game card Pokemon style to Isaiah for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks it automatically returns. There's lots of limitations with this that I think make it not nearly as good as it could be. Things like you have to be like local essentially, or on the same Wi-Fi to be able to send it. You need to be like local to the other device. At least the initial time that you send, maybe you could like renew the sending from a distance, but it's a little weird. So it's a bit strange. And they treat it like it's a literal lend. So like if I lend Isaiah a game, I can't play that game. Like I'd have to take it back to be able to play it. And the 2 week thing, that's automatically done. Like you can't, like I can't say like it's fine, he can just have it for as long as he wants. Like it will auto come back and then you have to re-get it. With all that being said, the combination of let's take advantage of Game Share and I want a game with synergies led me to Slay the Spire, because the other thing too is there's not a lot of games that you would have on your Nintendo Switch that I didn't have. If anything, it'd be the opposite, because I just get more game codes. I've been doing the media stuff for much longer than you have, so I have like more keys and more games available on most platforms. So now we are at the time where you can now go pick it up. We have Slay the Spire at home, essentially. Yeah. When you sent this my way, were you even expecting me to you play it? Or like, what did you think was going to happen with this? I remember sending it to you on a whim, thinking like, oh, maybe she'll like it. She again, coming off of a little bit of Clair Obscur, in your Switch era from Hollow Knight before, like there was a little bit of openness to this kind of game that I thought you'd be interested in. And boy, was I right. Oh man, this game got its claws in you. And not only that, but like seeing you play and having fun with it made me want to replay. Like when I was game sharing Slay the Spire 1 with you, I had bought Monster Train 2 for myself, because it was like, oh man, like I want a fun experience. I want to get into something new again. And I would just look over, I see you playing Slay the Spire, and I'm like, Monster Train isn't hitting the same. It's not even that it's bad. It's just like they knocked it out of the park, out the gate, with Slay the Spire. So, you would play that for, I think like just out, like you put so many hours into that game very quickly. It would be your like on the couch while something's on TV kind of game, Yeah, I wish I had the numbers in front of me, because they're on the Switch, which is like annoying to surface. I did post it at one point online, my hours, I think. It's definitely at least 80. I think I got up to 100 I think I was at like 112 or something. And the only reason I stopped playing was because I felt like it was ruining my life. Not literally, but it did get to that point. Again, kind of repeating stories from older episodes, but it got to that point where the whole thing you do in Slay the Spire is you have, and this will help set us up for 2 as well, because it's pretty much the same construction. You have a set of characters. You go up the spire, and it's a little map. And it has a boss at the end. The sections are called acts, so you have 3 acts. And then after you beat the final boss, it kind of opens up where there's like a real final boss, like, essentially, because when you beat it, it says like victory ? So kind of implying that you haven't achieved the victory. And then there's this final boss, which is the heart. And I have never beaten the heart. 100 hours in, I still haven't beaten the heart. And like I kept trying and trying and trying. And because I was good enough at the game, I would also get really far before losing. So it's like I would spend like these like 2-hour runs just to lose again. And it's like again and again. And I felt like I was really just like hitting my head against a wall. Now it's a wall I really liked. So like it was like still fun, but at the same time, it was just like, all right, man, like it's time to give up. It's time. Yeah. We tried for a really long time. It's not happening. And especially combined with the nature of my job, where I am sort of, I need to be trying and playing new stuff pretty constantly. Again, needs a little dramatic because I do, I work at in freelance. So, this podcast, Min-Max, Remap, none of those are like very prescriptive. We're not like assigning reviews or anything. But it would get to a point where it's like, okay, man, like, just from my own perspective, again, this is like pressure I sort of put on myself. But it would be weird if literally every week I'm like, still only playing Slay the Spire 1 from also like 2017 or whatever. So, I was like, okay, these are hours I want to give to another game. It's time to stop. And also I knew Slay the Spire 2 was coming out. So I'm like, you know what? It's not that big a deal. We can end here. And that brings us to Slay the Spire 2, which I'm very privileged because I played 1 last year. It originally came out in 2019.
And it's insane. I feel like this is like a Pikmin 3 to 4 kind of situation where it's like you played the last one months before the new one came out.
I need to add that I have these working. We had our Backloggd episode. I started some extra lists that I think are going to change my life. They're not, but I'm excited. I'm in that era where I still feel like maybe it will. And Pikmin 4 is a game I really want to get back to. But I misspoke before. Slay the Spire 1 came out in 2019, which is still 7 years ago, which is crazy.
I think it maybe came out on Switch 1.0 in 2019.
Steam. Yeah. I'm looking at Steam.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now maybe this is their 1.0. I don't know how Steam treats the original versus the not, So, and it's kind of hard to find that out.
Early access was 2017. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that was that. But the 1.0 was 2019, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's what it says here. So even longer than that. So then 9 years. 9 years. Yeah, I only had to wait a few months. So that was pretty sweet. I was like, we're back in the Spire. But yeah, like as an OG fan, well, I guess like for Slay the Spire 1, were you there 1.0? Were you there early access? Like what was your...
I think I was there on this. I think I originally got the game on the Switch. So sometime 2019, I'm guessing, is when it first started. Yeah, it seems like May it started coming to consoles. So it would have been, sometime 2019, right before the pandemic kind of thing. I'm riding a bus into work and on Muni or whatever, going home. I'm slaying the Spire there or just kind of chilling at home before everything shut down. Which, man, during the pandemic, I probably played a lot of hours of Slay the Spire. Nice. Now that I'm thinking back on it.
So now 2 is here. How has your time been with 2? What is your hour count at with 2?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
You can take some time to grab the hours if you. We can do that while I'm going if you want. But what's your time been like? And this coincides perfectly with you finally, I think, finishing one of the goals you had yesterday.
Yeah. I last night, as of recording, I was up. We were up really late until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. both playing games and stuff, and I did my last run. So my goal, these games can go on forever, right? Like you can constantly replay more. You unlock new cards, you unlock new characters, you discover new builds and mechanics and ways to synergize things together. So a lot of replay value in these games. I define these kinds of games as beaten when I've beaten a run with every main configuration. So in Slay the Spire, the configurations are just the characters. In Slay the Spire 2, there's as of right now at least 5 characters that you can play as. Me beating a run with each of the 5 characters solo is a goal, is like my goal for in Backloggd. I've now said that I've beaten this game. Obviously still more you can do and co-op and more potential characters down the line. We'll see what happens, right? The game is in early access, so who knows what other content is going to come. But that is like my line in the sand for having beaten a game like this. And yeah, did it last night. It felt really good. I have fought. So there's to take a step back. So the game Slay the Spire 2, right, sequel to Slay the Spire, there are some returning characters from Slay the Spire 1 as well as some new characters. So Ironclad, Silent, and we call him Orby. I forget what his real name
the automaton, I think.
Sure. We're going to call him Orby.
Right? That's way worse than Orby. Yeah. Thank you.
So those 3 make a comeback for this game. But then there's also 2 new characters introduced, the Regent and the Necrobinder, I think it is.
Yeah, Necrobinder.
Both have like new mechanics to them. The Necrobinder especially is like really cool in that she has like a companion pet character almost that like Asti that you can use to like fight with and can kind of like use for defense and offense and like other cool mechanics. And then there's Regent, which is like this like extraterrestrial alien kind of royal member who like sits on a throne, and he has like little minions who come and do work for him sometimes, and he does like a lot of he has a secondary currency in the game that he uses. So there's like your regular energy, and then he has stars, and some cards cast spell includes energy, some include stars, some include both, some include neither. It kind of really ultimately depends on what your configuration and everything is. So 2 very new unique ways of playing mechanically are introduced with these characters, and I had the hardest time beating it with Regent. I think yesterday, I must have played for like 7 hours straight of just getting on a run, getting to Act 3, dying, starting a run, getting to Act 2, dying, starting a run, getting to Act 3, dying. All is the Regent. Trying new mechanics every time, trying new builds every time. Eventually, I found a synergy that worked. Shout out to Void Form, which is like, it's an expensive card, but when you play it, the first 2 or 3, if it's upgraded, cards you play every turn are free. And they're free across both energy and stars. So it's like, okay, cool. Now I can just start stacking my deck with these like really expensive cards. As soon as I get Void Form, then I'm just chopping away, doing big hits to the enemy and knocking things out. So finally found a situation, a synergy that worked for me. You had a much different time with the Regent. Curious to know just like your time in general with these characters. Do you like some of the returning characters? Do you like the kind of twist they've given to them? Even the old like returning characters, there's kind of like some new mechanics here and there.
They edited them a bit. Thoughts. Like their deck is not completely like their starting deck is the same, but their cards can be a little different, and also there's been changes to like how some of them function. Like there's no longer, I think even by name, there's no longer for Silent a catalyst card. And if there is, it's different. Like there used to be, so Silent's the poison character, and you can like, catalyst was like, it would essentially not double, but it would like add to based on like how much poison you have. So it was a great way to stack poison on enemies. That's kind of been nerfed, but there's like a similar replacement. So like a lot of same but different. But yeah, Slay the Spire 2 has been amazing. And it is one of those games where if you didn't really play a Slay the Spire at all, or didn't play much Slay the Spire, you'd look at it and say like, this is the same thing that I've already seen before. But if you have played it, you really do get to enjoy the nuances. They also did kind of revamp the art a bit. It still has like the same general look. It's not exactly wildly fancy, but I think it's a like softer look than how it originally was, which I think helps with like the simplicity of the art. Because like my first impression of like the art in Slay the Spire 1 was like, oh, this is like kind of ugly. Like it just is kind of very basic, and it's still basic now, but it feels a little bit like cleaner looking in its and how it's like drawn. So I think that's really nice.
I remember you really hating the art in Slay the Spire 1. And
yeah, but then I saw the Monster Train art and I said, actually, Slay the Spire 1 looks amazing. Monster Train looks ugly as hell. It's just like something about the style. It's very harsh looking. Like,
well, they didn't have animations really in Slay the Spire 1. And I think the animations in 2 really do a lot of heavy lifting for
They also have some
better.
really pretty cards, which I'd love to see them do more of that. I don't think they're going to really for like, because it's not like I don't think it's a high important thing, but like they have this cool thing where you can upgrade some of your like base cards, like for instance like Ironclad starts with a card called Bash, and you can like upgrade that to be, I forgot the name of the upgraded card, but like the art looks like very, very nice, which is almost a little frustrating because it's like, oh, so you guys can make really, really nice looking stuff and you just like kind of go for a more minimalist route. But I don't know, it does make those moments a little bit more special, I suppose.
Yeah, there are some like full art cards which all look great, but I think the other kind of cool part to the art that I personally like, and I almost wish there was like a way to turn it on forever, is that they have like it's a game in early access and there's like placeholder art all over the place, which is like this like crayon child's drawing kind of aesthetic look to it, which I think is really cool, that you like can very clearly see the artistic inspiration or like the artistic intention behind the art while it's like such a low fidelity drawing. I almost want to be able to like turn that on for like even these like high fidelity, you know, full art cards and everything. Like I would love to just kind of see what is the placeholder for everything. I think that's really cool.
I think I heard they did some of that in Slay the Spire 1 originally with the early access, that you could like toggle on and off some of the placeholder art, but I don't really know because I played on only Switch, which is funny because when I booted up Slay the Spire 2, they were like, we see you've never played Slay the Spire 1. I'm like, that's a lie. That's not true. I felt very defensive about that. But yeah, I think it's tough to talk about because the same base magic is there. I think what I would say is added is a few improvements that I didn't even really think were needed. Like if you were to ask me like, what don't you like about Slay the Spire 1? I think the only thing I could really speak to easily is that you can't like highlight your map route, which they've now added in where you can draw on the map, which I think is like a great way to be able to highlight your map route. So boom, that's done. But they've also done things that like I personally didn't even think about. Like the events are so much more interesting in Slay the Spire 2, and specifically like when you enter into like a new act and like the options you have for like what happens, you kind of like meet, I don't know, a fancy being. Like I don't know if they're a deity, a monster, whatever. I don't really follow the lore of Slay the Spire. And they have like offerings for you, and like most of them are good. There is one, there's the devil, and his are like mostly kind of mixed bag offerings. There's like one thing that's like, this is just good things, but most of it is like, you're really powerful, but like I play your first hand, and it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. I've been too afraid to touch any of those. But yeah, like it is not just more Slay the Spire, it's a better version of Slay the Spire. But it's also different enough that I don't think it takes away from like the first game necessarily. Like I think the first game could still be fun to play. And Rob Zachney over at Remap did ask me, now that you're like so deep into Slay the Spire 2, does it make you want to go back to 1 and try to like beat it? And it doesn't make me want to do that, but I am considering trying to do that because it would be nice to finally have that be done. But yeah, really loving my time. I have crafted some nasty good builds, and I felt very, even though I really did want you to succeed, because you were really miserable yesterday, specifically like beating your head against the wall trying to beat it with Regent. I also was struggling really hard with Regent, and kind of everybody, like Silent and Necrobinder I did pretty easily. Ironclad was harder than I thought it would be for how simple he is. I was like, why is this not done yet? And then Regent was definitely a like, I don't know how to get him to work. Because the other mechanic he has is like, he has big sword where it's like you can forge the sword and make it stronger, and it does like high damage, but it costs 2 out of 3 energy, again for standard. And it's like, okay, well, do I just like lean on that? It's like sometimes that feels really good, sometimes it doesn't. Like, I didn't really know which direction to go in. I ended up winning with Regent by having what I call an everything build. It's like, oh, like most people play as Regent, they're like, I'm going to do stars, or I'm going to do the sword. I did stars, sword, and I think defense, and also like attack. Like, I had everything that you could ever need or want. Actually, maybe not for Regent. Maybe that was my Ironclad build. So that was Ironclad was the everything thing. But Regent, I think I also was kind of playing on a couple different tools because I just couldn't win with him otherwise. But yeah, it's been great. It's been fun. And now I'm still missing Orby. So you did beat me. My first goal is the same as yours, the solo with everybody. And then I want to do co-op with everybody. We've been doing co-op. Can you tell me a little bit about like what is the structure of co-op, and then how are you liking it? This is another thing that I also didn't necessarily know I wanted from Slay the Spire, but now that we have it, I have really enjoyed my time with it. But yeah, what is that setup like?
Yeah. Really quick as an aside, I did look at my hours. I'm at 52 and a half hours on Slay the Spire 2.
I am at, let me scroll up because I have my Steam open, though you very nicely brought me my Steam Deck. I'm like, Steam's here now. 56.1. I might be missing a couple hours. I don't know if this is cloud synced up.
It should cloud sync. Yeah.
56 hours. You said you're 52?
52.8 or something like that.
Damn, you've done a little bit more with me with a little less time. But you know what? Honestly, I don't know if I'm impressed by how well I'm doing or surprised by how well you're doing, but I'm surprised by that because, and granted, a lot of our hours are also shared because we play together, but like the fact that I'm like not on your level, but I'm like competitive. Like, I think I've grown a lot in being able to play a game like this over the time that I've spent, which you would fucking hope, 100 something, 150 hours in a franchise. I would hope that I'd be okay at playing it. Oh yeah, tell me about co-op.
Man, yeah. So time is flying by. But yeah, co-op. Like you said, it's a thing I didn't even realize I wanted until I had it, kind of thing. It was definitely the faster horse kind of a General Ford kind of situation. I honestly low-key kind of love the multiplayer co-op that they added, where it's the same Slay the Spire setup, right? It's you pick a character, you're going up a map, you're picking your route and everything like that. But with the caveat that now other players are also with you. I'm like 99% sure that it's the more characters you have, the beefier the enemies get. Not necessarily in like how much damage they do, but they have more HP. And I don't know exactly what the sliding scale is there. If it's like, oh, like 2 ironclads is going to be different than an ironclad and a silent or something like that. But you're playing Slay the Spire. You are going up the map together. So you generally have to like kind of vote and choose on what path you're going to take. And we also discovered that if you have a split between like what paths you want to go down, the game will just like kind of flip a coin, randomize between which way you end up going. The events that you get are a little bit different in that there are now like events where you have to, as a team, vote on the choice that you guys want to make, whether it's like, oh, we want to fight for extra reward or take a little bit of damage and run, or, some other third option. Sometimes there's like everyone has to unanimously choose. Sometimes it's a choice that like individually you guys can make and take different benefits from and things like that. They introduce some co-op cards. So like cards that have the mechanic of interacting with other players that you're with, where it's like, oh, choose an enemy, other players deal double damage to the enemy, and it's like, okay, cool. Like if I I'm playing with Janet and I know she has like a big powerful beefy card or something like that, it's like, oh hey, don't play yet, let me play this first. Which I guess brings transitions into the other element, is that the way you play, it is still turn based in that it's enemy turn and then player's turn, but during the player's turn it's real time. So like you can play cards whenever you want, and it just kind of ultimately ends up like queuing up amongst all the players. So if Janet plays a card, and then while her animation is going, I play 2 cards, and then Janet plays a 4th card, like it'll resolve as Janet, me, Janet kind of thing. So you do have to like ideally be in communication on a Discord call in the same room, however you want to do it, so that if you have a mechanic or a strategy or something, you're able to say like, hey, like if an enemy's going to attack, don't do anything. I have a card that'll weaken them first, or we'll constantly be talking about, hey, can you apply vulnerability? Can you apply weak? Just based on like what cards are in the other player's hand. They do give you a little bit of a way of seeing what cards another player has. It's a little funky. It's weird. It's just like good enough that I'm not wanting more, but I do wish I had more.
I want more.
Where we're basically.
I'll go on record
and say that I want
you're
more.
listening to the show. Make that shit better. Like, yeah, like if they never changed it, I wouldn't be like, this never became good. Like the multiplayer is awesome, but there's so many like things that I wish it had. One, making it easier to view cards, and then 2, let me spectate. Because you can die and keep in the party can keep going, and then you like res for like either 1 HP or like 3 HP or something, and then you can kind of like get carried in that way. And like, for those who don't know, when you beat the boss at any act, you like fully heal automatically. So it's like, oh, if I die and Isaiah kills the boss, great, I'm back in business for Act 2, baby. Like it's all good. But like I'm just there, and like I don't even get to watch you. Like it's like that kind of sucks. Like because it would be really fun to like be able to spectate that.
Mechanically, I get it though, because like I am my own character that we're going through the through the Spire together. I cannot see what's in your mind. I can't see.
But the Spire isn't realizing that.
But it is to me.
It's all made up. It's all made up. Like yeah, no, I this is where you and I maybe differ. I do not give a fuck about like any of that. Well, technically, someone wouldn't know. It's like it's all artifice. So like I don't know. Technically, I wouldn't be able to like now I'm of course not thinking of any examples that like you can do or whatever, but it's like I don't know. It's just like it's just a little silly, because if that was the logic, then I wouldn't be able to see anything. Because like when you're playing cards, like if I'm playing and I'm watching your character on the screen, I can see like cards appear above your head.
Yeah,
it's like that shit's not real either. Yeah, well, I can't see your fucking thoughts, so like, show me them thoughts all the way then. If you know what I mean? Like,
I like it. I like that they give you so much absolute information. Like they tell you the enemy's intent and whether they're gonna attack or defend or debuff you or buff themselves or something like that. Like, but they don't tell you exactly what those buffs and I think Megacrit does a great job of walking the line of giving you intent without giving you absolutely 100% all the information. And I think that if they did show you fully other players' hands and things like that, then you would get a lot of backseat gaming or like time consuming, almost like min-maxing and like strategizing the fun out of the game a little bit. The fact that you have to still make choices without me having full knowledge of what you can do unless you verbally explain to me everything.
Counterpoint, how fun has it been us playing? Because one thing I didn't realize, you told me this, is that this game is on Steam, but it's on both PC and Mac, which is the cool thing for me and us in that instance. Is like I have a Mac laptop, like all my computer stuff is Mac, and we have a bunch of Apple TVs. So that means that like I can take my Mac laptop and cast into this. We'll talk more about this when we talk about the apartment. I can cast to the TV, and then you're playing at your desk, which is like in the corner of the living room, and we can both be like in the living room together playing. And like the fact that you can look up and look at my cards, it's like that's kind of sick. You don't do it a lot, but especially like that run where I think we won that run too, or if we didn't know, we got really far. But like we had a great run where you died really early in a boss fight. It was the crab guy with the 2 hands or whatever.
I hate that
don't
guy.
at me if he's not a crab, then he's some other fucking crustacean. I don't know. And I did basically that whole fight by myself, and it was amazing. Like the shit I was pulling off, I was like reading the cards so closely, because like that's also the fun thing, but it's lightly overwhelming, but like you can follow it, so it's fine. There are certain builds you can make in Slay the Spire 2, and it's also true in 1, where it's like the order of my cards matters so much. I really need to be like, okay, well now let me think about this. Because, like just to give like a generic example, it might be something simple like, You have a card that lets you draw. If you are thinking of using that card, you probably want to use that first, because then you can see what you might be drawing, and what you might draw can impact things. Sometimes it's the opposite, where it's like, I can, because you can see like what cards are left in your deck. You don't know the order they're going to appear in, but you can see the deck in the discard pile. It's like, oh, well, I'm actually not going to draw, because even though it's normally good to draw, I don't want to draw that thing that costs 3 energy that I really want to play, because if I get that, I can't play it. So it's like all these different like things you're thinking of. Sidebar to talking about the multiplayer, or like kind of tangential to that. The other day, my brother Edwin was here, and he said, we should find a game we could all play together. Could we get him into Slay the Spire?
Oh man, would he like Slay the Spire? I definitely think he would play it, and he could play it. I don't know that he would find it fun, just because it is a little bit of a slower kind of game.
But he likes Pokemon. I know Pokemon's not Slay the Spire, but it's like it's all cards, And I know it's like, the turn-based RPG. Yeah, but it's based on the card game. Yeah.
If I had to make a choice, I would say he probably would not find it fun. But I mean, we could let him do a run on one of our games, and we'll see if he likes it, and we can kind of go from there. It does support at least 3 people. I think it maybe 4, but at least 3 people.
Total 4. Which I still have not done a 4-person run. Negative shout out to the MinMax patrons who did not vote to have Jeffem come back. Though in y'all's defense, you did vote for it initially. Like we had tried to have a max group on MinMax, but Jeffem's internet got cut out like for that window of time. And then the show didn't. It was Nusha Plus, which gets voted on every week. So we're like, oh, maybe next week if it gets voted on, then we can have the full squad of 4. But it didn't get picked for the following week, so then we weren't able to do it.
But you guys won.
I still need to. Yes, and we did win. Yeah, and that's the thing too. And I was like, no, we went without Jeff. I need to actually. That reminds me, I need to ping them back, because I still stand by. Let's just do it for fun on, as a bonus thing for MinMax. Yeah, I haven't done the 4 yet. Very excited to do the 4. I was a little bummed when I did the 3. Well, one, it was pretty early in me playing, and by early I mean I only did like 12 hours or something. But like I felt like I was the worst one. But like we won, it's a team thing anyway. But I'm like, I felt like my build just never really like popped off. Like it is kind of the one light negative I'd say about Slay the Spire is when before your build gets exciting, it's like less exciting of a game, because it is just like, there's only so much you can do. So it's like, and now I strike and I defend for 2. Okay, now they go. And then you one fun thing is with your starting deck, they usually give you at least one card that's like a little fun, for Ironclad's Bash, where you apply vulnerable. For Silent, I forgot what it is.
It's the one that
not a poison
you
thing,
discard, but it does more defense. And
yeah, 8 defense, 1 discard. So it's like everyone's got a little thing.
Apply weak or something.
Something else too, I really love the fact they added in Sly.
Yeah, it's a mechanic.
I don't know, is that only Silent, or is that for everybody?
I've only seen it so far in Silent. It could be other people. There's also a way to like get other characters' cards during your runs and things like that. So
yeah, which is like, it's a mechanic where when you discard, I forgot something happens when you discard or something.
If you discard a Sly card,
free. Yeah. So that's been really fun, like to kind of play around. It has helped take the pain out of nerfing the poison. Before I forget about the multiplayer stuff, there's something else I wanted to say about the multiplayer. I'm forgetting what it is, but yeah, it's been really fun, and it really just like, again, this sounds like this is a very dorky section of like, we love Slay the Spire too, but like it really like you really genuinely just get to share in the fun, because one thing that kind of sucks about this game, because assuming you're not streaming it, like sometimes you'll do something really incredible and there's like no one there to witness your glory, and that's like that's kind of a bummer, just because it's like it's really exciting and you kind of like want to tell people about it, but explaining it is really boring. Hopefully the segment hasn't been too boring for people that don't want to see the Spire, where it'll be like, and then you don't understand, I had 3 Mimesis cards, and it's like, who the fuck, like who gives a fuck, like but like when you're like together, even though you're not necessarily seeing your cards, it can be fun to like, wait, oh my god, like, and you're kind of like riffing on each other's builds, and like it's just a really good time. So yeah, I've been really enjoying the multiplayer, and I'm almost done with my secondary goal, which is beating every character with you in multiplayer. I'm missing Orby. on both, basically. He's the last one for all of them.
I don't know who I have left to beat with you in co-op.
You might not have anybody, but that seems wrong because it's like, wouldn't you think that like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, isn't that math not working
out? Unless you like
sure.
doubled up on some characters for some of the wins, but I don't think you would have. I think we've made the intention of trying to play with these new characters.
Yeah, like we're different people and stuff, but. Yeah,
although
and then I still want us to do our double Necrobinder run. Which
I want to do double everyone, to be honest. I want to do double Ironclad, double Silent, double Necrobinder, because there are some cards that I don't know if I guess they're multiplayer only cards.
Yeah, they are.
That are
That's what I want to mention, actually. Thank you.
Buff. So like if we were both Necrobinder, there might be a card that's like the phrasing might be like Austie cards do double damage this turn, and if we're both Necrobinder, we're both playing Austie cards, then it's like, oh, we're both doing double damage, or any sort of all players forge 10 if we're both the Regent or something like that. And it's like, yeah, you could do some really you could do some really nasty work. I think is playing the same character.
Yeah, I feel like Regent did grow on me a little bit, but now that I kind of understand him a little bit more, but Necrobinder is definitely my favorite of the two new ones, just because she is kind of a different take on poison, but it's like just different enough that it's there's dread that you apply, but what's different about dread versus poison is poison hits before the enemy attacks. So like you can have like, if you have 30 poison, only 30 HP, like that enemy dies like when their turn starts. But if you have 30 dread and 30 HP, the enemy dies after they do their attack. There is a card you can do that makes it hit before, which is a really big deal. But yeah, it's such a fun game, and you can, it is one of those games where you have like, you could tell endless stories about the build you have, or the way your run was kind of perfect, and then you like hit the one enemy that like ruined it kind of thing. So yeah, it's a good time. And I'm enjoying the bosses a good amount. There's a few that I feel like are harder than I'd like in a way. And I think I feel like the boss builds are maybe a little bit less like cute than like the first one. And I feel like they're a little easier, which I'm not mad at, because free wins for me, you know what I mean?
Some of them are harder, man.
Maybe I'm just better at the game also.
Yeah,
the experiment I think is the experiment is the hardest one. I've called him the lizard because he kind of looks like a lizard. And he has 3 phases. In his third phase, he gets intangible every other turn, which intangible means you can only take 1 damage per hit. Yeah. I still think also the other hard one is the one that we always die to, the Queen, which I saw a lot of people complaining about her because she has like a minion, and the minion basically makes it so like he applies frail to a bunch of your cards. Like every time you draw, like some of your cards are frail, and frail means that of all your frail cards, you can only play 1 frail card a turn. So it just really limits what you're doing, like almost to the point where I'm like, what have we even learned from this? And it stays even when he dies is the kicker. I think if it was only there when he was alive, I would say that's kind of valid and fun. Good game design is when I win, and bad game design is when I lose.
Classic. Yeah, no. And then the other boss that was giving us a really hard time was it's like the knowledge seeker or whatever, where like
Mr. Would You Rather.
Mr. Would You Rather. He'll give you these choices every couple turns that are like ongoing, almost like debuffs, like curses of like, oh, you draw 2 less cards every turn, or you could choose that, or you take damage for every card left in your hand at the end of your turn, or something like that. And it's like you get like 3 or 4 of these choices the longer the fight goes on, and so it's like incentivizing you to really play aggressive sometimes, or be just really aware of what your deck build is. I think this game is very much like, to say more than the first one is probably strong, just because I know that especially with like later ascensions, things get really crazy in Slay the Spire 1, and I imagine Slay the Spire 2 as well. But I feel like
which is just like the same thing but more difficult. There's more elites in the ascensions.
The ascensions change every one. So the first ascension is just that there's more elites.
Oh, okay.
And number 1 I think went up to 10. I don't know what number 2 goes up to, but like
20.
Probably.
I think. No, I think it does. Let me Google it.
Gosh, that's so many. I think this game like really, more than the first one for me at least, really forces you to like know what your engine is. Like when you are building a deck, when you're drafting these cards, I find myself skipping cards a lot more playing Slay the Spire 2 because something isn't like these options aren't contributing to the mechanics that I've been building so far and the engine that I'm building and the way that my like deck is flowing. And so I'm just going to skip it. I find myself really gravitating towards the question marks just because I think the events are really interesting. And outside of maybe like one or two, there's very few I found that are just like net negative events.
Yeah. Also, I misspoke. So the first game had 20 ascensions. This one has 10 ascensions. And I read this from Reddit. Someone said that let me just read it. They said 10. And A10, like Ascension 10, is the same modifier as Ascension 20 was in the first game. So that makes me think that is intended to be the max level, not just that they are missing some from early access, though they could definitely still add more later. So, okay, go on.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. No, there's like this weird like I forget what they called it, like timeline, lore, sort of background of stories that you unlock. Yeah. Basically, as you like kind of complete milestones in the game, you unlock these epochs, which are like little cards that show up on a timeline of events that
apparently
give you like a little bit of
epic.
Backstory. Really?
Yeah, I
say
looked
epochs.
It up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
it's spelled epochs, but it's epic, and it's a real word. It's a period of time in a person's life, typically marked by notable events or particular characteristics.
Oh,
that makes sense because they're like little cards that tell information.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate when words are just like. I'm like, I hate learning fucking new words.
Yeah,
I don't want to. Okay.
LG.
Yeah, but they're little cards. They're little cards, and they appear on like a little timeline. And when I'm done unlocking them, I think I'll take the time to read all of them and see what's going on. Right now, do you read them when you get them? I read like half of them.
Yeah.
And by half of them, I mean I read half of one of them.
Yeah.
Like each time, I'll get it and I'll like kind of skim. You know how like fucking low reading it is to skim a sentence? Mm-hmm. It's like I'm never gonna read the fucking sentence. But like
that's facts.
I don't care. But like it's not like I'm mad they're doing it. I like what they're doing with it. It looks really cute. And yet I'm like, wow. Okay, anyway.
The thing is, I care. I just don't want to take the story in out of order, one piece at a time. Like I'd rather just wait until the whole thing is done and then just get the chronological story that they're trying to tell.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, me too.
Yeah.
That's why I care actually so much that I honor it by not reading it. But yeah, same with the events, funnily enough, where they have flavor text and then it just says like, take 2 damage or whatever, and I just read like, what's actually going on over here? I
do read the event flavor text. That is usually always fun.
Sometimes I read it. I don't read it all the time. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a really good time, and I'm slowing down on my playtime with it now because I want and need to play other games. Like, if you listen to another podcast I'm on, Remap Radio, you'll know that I spent about 3 weeks saying we have like a what we've been playing section, and I'm like, I'm still just playing Slay the Spire, which like I could play multiple games, but it's like, why would I play anything when I could play Slay the Spire? Now I'm finally playing other games, but I am still playing Slay the Spire a little bit. And yeah, it's been so fun going through things and also having like our co-op runs. I definitely want to do some more of those here and there. It's really fun to also just like end a run, and then we like turn to each other and you're like, you want to play again?
You want to play another one? You want to play another one?
Hell yeah, I want to play another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great game.
We've been looking for a co-op game, and we found one in the most unlikely of spaces, I feel like. Yeah,
which I'm sure people that played the board game, which is co-op, maybe clocked that this was going to be coming down the pipeline, because that does make sense because the board game's co-op, but like, yeah, I wasn't expecting it, and they didn't announce that it'd be co-op until like shortly before the game came out. I think like 1 or 2 weeks before, and yeah, it's been really, really fun. I have pretty much exclusively good things to say about this game. I'm excited to see what other things they add to it and to see what the final balancing is like, because I do know so my plan for early access, I don't know if you're the same way, is when it hits 1.0, I want to do what I did again, and then to like beat it for real, because it's like I beat it, but like some things are harder than they're going to be, and some things are probably easier than they're going to be. So I'm like, okay, now that you determined what is balanced to you, to see what it is. And they're already experimenting with they have a beta branch of the early access, which I'm not fucking going in there because crazy shit's happening in there, and I'm busy dealing with my other shit. Like,
yeah,
like they have, because again, it's an experimental branch, so like, you know, they're trying out like wild stuff with the door guy, and it's like, I don't need him to be fancy yet. I'm gonna let y'all figure that out, and then when you decide how it goes, I'll pick it up then. But yeah, it's been great. Any other thoughts on Slay the Spire 2? Which again, I don't know what we're gonna do for especially for Gang of the Year. I'm down to consider it for Game of the Year. We were talking about this at breakfast about like whether or not you put it with early access. Typically, I don't put early access stuff in my top 10. I just feel like I'd rather wait for it to be fully out. You're like, it is out. It's just not done. But semantics like matter. That's how we like understand the world. They decided to do that. I didn't tell them to do that. They could have released it and just said we're updating.
If they can take my money, I can consider them for consideration. Like, I feel like you did this. You put the game out for consumption. You're selling the game. I'm going to consider the game as is. Now, if you wanted me to consider a better game, you should have waited and put out a more finished product.
Well, I'm toxic. I'm not holding because I think they're going to make a better game. I'm holding in case they make a worse game. Even though I don't think they will. Like, it's Slay the Spire.
I mean, but that can happen anyway. You know, like, hey, you can have.
But I want to judge them on what the final thing is. Yeah, I know what you mean. It is kind of like a silly. It's a weird thing, but it's like they kind of get split across like multiple years, and it's like I'll just take them when like they have their big year, which will be in 1 to 2 years is what they have on their Steam page. I will say other benefits to playing in early access besides the fact that you play it now and you can understand what we're talking about, which hopefully is understandable if you haven't played. It's a little cheaper than it will be when it launches 1.0. Right now it's $24.99 on Steam, and they said it will cost more after the early access. So I'm guessing like 30, but you know,
I guess
still those are savings you could have right now. So you don't want to lose money on this.
That's true. The investment's only going to get worse the longer you wait.
And now for the not game section of the show, we are talking about moving, aka what has kept us from the show for like many moons.
Man, talk about a lot of work.
It was an insane amount of work. Okay, so let's get into the why of it all. So we had been at our last place for 2 years.
I think
maybe going on 3.
Closer to 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it had been a while, and it was like, wow. What a place it was. No, okay, so we'd been there for a while. There definitely were things that were cool about it, like it was a 2-bedroom, so it's like, we have a room, and then we have like our work space, the studio is what we kind of called it. That went through like a million reorgs, but it was a big reorg apartment.
Yes.
And I think that was for 2 reasons. One, it was one of the few times just you and I had lived together, because we originally lived together back when we were in the Bay. Then we moved to LA and we were with my family for a while. And the place we just had was like, oh man, it's just us again. Like, you know, all the cans of corn are mine. I don't really know. I don't really care that deep about having my own stuff. But it's like, okay, it's, you know, it's just going to be our place and our vision. And that vision changed a lot, because I think...
Yes, it did.
What I didn't notice when I picked this apartment, I mean, obviously it was a joint decision, but I was like, it's kind of like it's laid out a little weirdly. And the number one thing that we got fucked over on that I would encourage people to consider if you're looking at a place is storage.
Yep.
There was no storage.
Like, you had under the sink, you had a couple cabinets for some plates and bowls and cups. That's it. Yeah. I hope you don't need to use your closet, because you're going to have to store stuff in there. You don't have a hall closet. You don't have a coat closet near the entrance or anything like that. Like, it was a very like open concept space, but in the openness, and the concept was bad. Yeah, in the openness, you lose the ability to have any place for things. So yeah, especially with how the space was laid out, because we'll call it my family apartment. My family apartment that we first lived in was also open concept,
but the zones were so much clearer. Like you entered and there was like the kitchen, and the kitchen had like a big island, and it had a good amount of cabinets. It was a pretty large kitchen. And then sort of like, it's funny because it's the kind of thing where it's like, what's the difference? But I remember now, like looking in my mind's eye, like that apartment had a sort of like ceiling, like a lip on the ceiling that like hung almost like not an entryway, but it had like a piece of drywall that kind of like created like a visual separation between that kitchen area and the living room, which wasn't a lot. Like it's barely noticeable, but it's the kind of thing where it's like the people that made this conceived of the fact that like these need to be known as separate zones. And then then that we had a space that we like, that was just like the big living room / like if you want a dining table, and we thus laid out the dining table, and then we had the living room, and it's like, and that worked really well. It was a really big apartment. That one was a 3-bedroom. So like all of us would fit in it, 1 bath, and an 2 bath, because one was an ensuite on Edwin's room. So yeah, and I didn't really have any, like, to my memory, like beefs with that apartment for the most part. I mean, obviously, like there were limitations in the fact that like we shared a bathroom with my dad and like little things like that, but like it really wasn't that crazy. And then moving to the values we just had, I was like, it's funny because the day that we looked at it, I was like, one, is it big enough? And then 2, just it has like this weird space where it's like the walkway to get into like the hallway towards the back of the bedrooms was such that like the inherent division that it creates was like, it's like I've never seen a space get divided where it's like both halves are small, like in a way, like they're both too small. It's like the kitchen area was too small and the living area was too small, and you had this tiny, it's like don't back a fucking chair out because you won't be able to like get around there. And what was your take? Because I feel like it weighed on me a bit more than it did on you, like the tightness, which is hilarious because you're like almost a foot taller than me, and you're you kind of made do, but you also have a better attitude than me just in general.
I think the fact that like our furniture was not I wouldn't say that it's like oversized by any means, but like our board game table is not one of the small board game tables, it's like what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-seater, like 3 on the sides and then 1 on the ends. Like it's a sizable table that is like decently wide, and so having that as our like kitchen table made it so that the kitchen living room
more
joint
of a 6-seater, but I get what you mean. It's big is the point.
Yeah, I think if there was like if there's like a Thanksgiving dinner there, you're fitting 8 people. You know what I mean? If
we had to, maybe. Yeah, anyway, let's not.
Anyways, so the
I'll take the chairs out right now, and we can see what happens.
The idea of having this in a central location inherently just takes up a lot of that central space, which bleeds into the living room, which we have this like L-shaped couch, or at least like it's a 3-seater couch, but one of the ends has like extended legs, like a little ottoman that you attach to it, so it's kind of like a small L-shaped couch.
It's like that footsie kind of, you can sit with your feet up kind of thing.
The 2 seats in a lounge kind of thing. That's also not small, and it's not like a huge couch, but it's not like a compact couch. You know what I mean? It's like a full back,
the coffee table couch we have too is huge.
The coffee table we have takes up a good amount of space, and it also lifts, and so there's like a little bit of movement room that you need to like leave space for and things like that. So like also we have these huge ass TVs. We have these like 2 65-inch TVs in our living room that we wanted to be able to sit at and not have it be at like weird angles. We also had this like cat tree. We also had this shoe rack. We also had the litter box and the 3D printer, and like all of these things.
Arcade machine.
The Pac-Man arcade machine. I forgot about the Pac-Man arcade machine.
We had all these machine. Things. It's arcade one of, but yes.
And like we made do with fitting them in places, but we had to Tetris this apartment a couple times to really find a home for everything. And
even then, it wasn't usable. Like it wasn't perfect by any means either.
No,
no.
It's like my walking pad. I forgot about that. And then like 18 calyxes. Like it's
but the calyxes were a necessity for not having the storage space.
Yeah.
Like, and it like to give people an idea of it. Like one of the things was like, so we had like the the classic like Calyx shelf of the sort of like a 4x2 kind of that usually used for TV stands and stuff like that. We had that like underneath the TV. For context, like the coffee table was one of those big like fat lifty ones. All the Calyxes had like little bins in them for the most part, some exceptions. In order to fit the Calyx, the coffee table, and then the sofa right behind it, it was such that like if you wanted to get into those bins, you had to physically pull the coffee table like 2 inches back to like be able to open the bin. That's how tight it was. And you might be like, why the fuck was it so tight? It had to be that tight because even if we got rid of our dining table, like the board game table, throw it away and we just eat at the coffee table or something, your options would be to back the sofa into the kitchen because like that's the layout of it where it's like when you're staring down the hallway, to your left is the kitchen with the dining table if you want it, and to the right is the living room. Like you can't pull the sofa farther back. And then it's like, well, what if you rotate it? It's going to be too wide because that space is like kind of rectangular, and then you're also being in front of the door. You'd open the door into the back of a sofa, and then you'd have like a smaller wall space for the TV. So it was just kind of like not well laid out. Like it was not laid out for success. Like I think there's ways that you could have that same apartment. Literally, if you just flip where the kitchen and the living room are, it would be a better apartment because then you'd have that whole area as living space and then that little area as the kitchen. But like the way they laid it out, they're like, do you want a lot of space for a kitchen that's inherently really small? And it's like, that's not really useful. And they're like, do you want almost no space for a living room that's inherently big? And I'm like, not really. But we didn't really know that until we put all this stuff in there and realized, and lived with it too. Because I think when we first did it, I wasn't like, this is fucking really bad. But it was just like, that's a little tight. A little tight.
I also think that to not to our credit, we did not like we committed very early to having the TV be in the half that it was and never deviated or played around with moving anything like else. Like the I don't know if you even realize this, but like where our TV was, we mounted it. Like when we moved in, we mounted it because it was like, there's a space to put a TV. Let's put it here.
They already had the mount rig thingy up there.
But on next to the fridge where we had the Calyxes, there was the Ethernet cables and like internet cables and stuff over there. Like we could have had the TV over there and then like the couch kind of cutting the room in half the other way and give it a path for Calyx squares on the TV wall and things like there
even
were
then,
layouts we could have.
We needed that guy. We needed that guy from TikTok who does the fuck the rooms.
The feng shui like organizer.
Maybe he could have did it. But I never really figured it out. And then I think like the studio space was really cool to have for sure, but because we had also like the rooms were like fairly small, like the studio space felt like sizable for what it was, but our bedroom was kind of small, and then you combine it with the lack of storage space, and it's like we had literally our extra because we're also like combine that with again our lifestyle just doesn't fit. I think some people could make that space look better than we did. We're also a Costco household. So take a Costco family and put them in a place with no storage space. We had like napkin, like where your nightstand was, it's like to the left of that was like a pile of like napkins and like detergent pods and random stuff. And like, it was a very like, it was a place that I felt constantly surrounded by. Like it was not a place where you could be a minimalist in, I think in a way. I mean, obviously I guess if you had minimal stuff, you'd have an easier time inherently fitting things, but it's like everything's just out. Like, it's like, think about how many things you really own. What if you had to see those things at all times? They're just staring at you at all times. Yeah. And that's kind of how the apartment was. Minus having, we had a parking space, still do. This one has, the old parking space had like a little kind of like
storage
cubby.
Unit. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fairly sizable. We fit a lot of stuff in there. And that was like that. We had that. So I'll give you that. Like it wasn't literally zero storage. We had that part, but like.
But that's not in the apartment.
That's not much.
You know what I mean?
It's not in the apartment, no.
I'm not going to go out there to get paper towels whenever we run out inside. Like, I need an apartment store. Now, I will say, it did have the in-unit, the washer dryer and some other niceties. And,
I definitely have some stuff over this place as, 2 bedrooms over 1, 2 bathrooms over 1. I think those are all the main things, but that's not nothing. That's like a long list on paper. But so we have all of that laid out. I don't know if you want to get into the charging of it all, but
yeah. I was the catalyst that really like spurred us wanting to move was our landlord. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you, unfortunate to who owns it. We have a Tesla, and we were able to charge our car at the apartment. Like I just, had a industrial kind of like extension cable. There's like a washer dryer room that's like public use, and there were like outlets there. When we moved in, I asked the, property manager, like, hey, like, I have an electric vehicle. Is it okay if I like charge my car? Like, just run, an extension cable to plug my car in, charge it at home, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, yeah, no, go for it. It's all good. No problem. And I was like, all right, cool. And that was fine for, the 2.5, 3 years that we were there, until one day the owner was like, oh, hey, by the way, you can't charge your car here anymore. And it's like, well, that was like literally one of the reasons we chose this specific apartment over others, is because the manager told us that we could charge at home,
which was so convenient, like just to be able, because we don't drive very much or very far when we do, sure, we'll do, like, we've driven to SF, which is like very far, but day to day we work from home, so it's like the farthest we ever go is like Dignity Health over in Carson, and like, again, if you're charging it, it's like just kind of charged. Like, it's kind of like your phone, right? Like, you're not always, unless your phone has like really like shitty battery, which mine's kind of going that way, you're not always bringing a portable charger. It's like you can kind of just charge for the day and have it be enough, kind of situation. So yeah, and I think also the other influencing factor was I've been, I say this like jokingly, obviously, but I've been kind of like a devil on your shoulder for like looking at places, because we've been looking at just like actual like regular, like we own it places, like houses, condos, things like that, mostly just for like vibes and inspo. We are not in a position to cut a check, though. That one place we saw, I said, Isaiah, could we scrape together a few $100,000?
There was one place we saw, it was like,
I looked at my phone and I said, what's in my checking, what's in my savings, and how. But yeah, we saw like a really, really cool place. But yeah, like obviously things can change over time. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I've like always been team like own a place, and you've been kind of more team maybe, but that's like kind of limiting. It's a lot of money. We don't have a lot of money. There's kind of a lot of things. But you, like, I think because you were down to like look at some open houses. I'm like, okay, cool, because I'm like, I think that'll be good for getting us a sense of what's out there, and also getting a sense of like what do we want and what do we like based on what we see. So we were already like kind of doing that just for funsies. That was like a pet project that I had going on. And then that's when all of this stuff kind of went down. And then I already had it in the background, the like, man, there ain't no storage in here. So then, just like the Joker, all you need is a little push. So I kind of say, I feel like I'm maybe the one that brought it up. Maybe you brought it up. I think I probably brought it up. It was like, we could just do a quick little change the filters and start looking at apartments instead of like houses, condos, with the idea of like, hey, maybe we can take this like negative situation of like you're feeling negative about the lack of charging. I've been feeling negative about the lack of storage. Maybe we can take this and turn it into a W by finding a place that's cheaper, thus saving money, which inherently is just always good, to, pay off debts. And maybe, put that towards like getting a place of our own that's like a for realsy place. And, money's always good. So like, even if we were to change our mind on like, oh, you know what? We looked at everything and we just can't find anything that fits our budget / we don't have a budget kind of thing. Well, having money's still good. So it like works out. And then that brought us to our new apartment, which I think worked out really good. Yeah.
We looked at a couple options, some better than others, and we randomly found the place that we ended up getting. We were coming back from another sort of apartment viewing, and we saw like little for rent signs and everything like that, which, man, I know people say that like, oh, the best way to find an apartment in LA is like just go to an area, walk around, and call the for rent signs. But turns out that's actually really true, because that's how we found this place. We had pulled over, you had saw something, we looked at it, it was great. It was this like new build, 2-bedroom, 2-bedroom, like 2.5 bath, incredibly tiny, very, very small in retrospect. Like living room was the size of a shoebox.
Yeah, literally. The living room was more of like a mud room. Not even a mud room. It was like an entryway. Genuinely.
Yes.
I could lay down wall to wall and there'd only be like a few inches.
All right, it was bigger than that, but it was not. It was not.
It was a cool
spacious at all.
Well, you actually did measure, so again, I don't need you to get the measurements, but like, it wasn't that big.
It was closer
but
to
it
like
looked
an
awesome.
8 feet, 10 feet than like the 15 to 20 that you would realistically want at a minimum for like the kind of shortest dimension, right?
And I said I'll become a minimalist for this apartment because I would love it.
Kitchen was gorgeous though. Bathrooms were looking sweet. Again, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. They had an upstairs, downstairs,
and they were
again.
funky, but you liked it still, which is rare because you're kind of more of a like modernist, clean look, and I like stuff that's like, in my words, has like personality and flair. But the result is that you sometimes think that looks a little like much, busy, loud, a little too much. And it had like this really beautiful tile, like black and white, fun, funky tile, and you're like, I like it. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's perfect. You like it. I like it. Why do we both like it? That's great. And I like modern too, so we just usually go modern. But yeah, it was so cool, and it had charging. Yeah,
they were willing. They said that they like again asked about the charging. Like, hey, I have an electric car. Is there a spot out here in a parking space where I can like charge my car? And they're like, oh, we can put one in. No problem, no extra cost or anything like that. Like it was like, oh, and I'm not gonna lie, there was a little bit of a red flag that went off in my head where it's like, all right. This is starting to sound a little too good to be true, because I think originally when we called him, they said it was going to be something like $2,100 a month or something like that. Which for LA and the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, putting in a charger for your car and everything like that, steal, right? Yes, it was a little small, but steal. And it wasn't until later.
It's in our budget. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then we realized it wasn't.
Yeah, we double confirmed what cost they had said on the phone, and apparently we both misheard the person, because they came back with something that was like closer to like $3,000 a month.
It was like 28 or 29. It was a lot, and it was way over the budget we had set, which was like, we're trying to like spend less to save, and they're like, this is actually more than you pay now. It's
exactly.
We're going in the right direction. And it's crazy. Like, I wish so badly that we had like the audio tape of that conversation, because I swear, I know in my heart, I'm like, I think she fucked up, and then tried to pull a little fast one. I don't know. It seems like it'd be dumb, because like, what's the point? Especially that far off. It was, and then it was like, then the vibes were kind of weird too, where they were like the person that showed it to us was like, oh yeah, it's actually like $2,900 or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's like too much. Like, sorry, I guess I misheard you, whatever. And they're like, well, you can always like send an offer back. And I was like, what's going on with this building? But I think what it is it's newly remodeled. They spent a fuck ton of money on it, and they're both trying to kind of have their cake and eat it too. So like, well, also maybe, I don't know how long they've been showing this, and I don't know, like, I was hoping maybe they'd be like, but I'm like, they'd have to be insanely desperate to drop down almost $1,000.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't.
So
we didn't get that
in the range that we were looking for.
Yeah. So honestly, that kind of worked out though, because it was really small. I think we both were very taken by like how good it looked and how much it had going for it. And also it had stairs, which was kind of fun. Like, we haven't had stairs in a while. And it had like a cute storage, like cubby nook thing, kind of like Harry Potter-esque closet.
Yeah. Under stairs, little storage unit.
Yeah, like they had like, so like that was really cool. And yeah, it was just like, it just was really cool. And I think I got like won over by it, because we had been looking at places that, I'm not gonna lie, were a little dusted and busted, because again, obviously when you're the less money you're gonna spend on something, inherently that makes it harder, I think, just to find good options. I think we did find good places, and I think you can find solid places contextual to the price point, but it is always going to be contextual. So that kind of just is what it is. So that was that saga. And then from that, I'm like, okay, but calling seems good. I called a place, and it's funny, we were like really working on it, and then we spent a lot of time and energy on this. Like, this is all we were doing for like days, because stuff goes really fast in LA, and you really want to like, and also especially with like us wanting to move, it's like, well, if we're trying to save money, the faster we move, the faster we can start this like saving money process. Yeah. So
Also,
we were
GDC
working really hard on
corner,
it.
so
Yeah. So it's like, let's work on this until
some time.
GDC, and then we'll like take a break and then come back stronger, hopefully, you know, after having some time off. And yeah, we were driving around and I was like, okay, let me call this place. I hopped out the car. I walked up to it. I called. I'm like, hey, what? And it's funny because some of them have say like, you know, 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom or whatever. This one just like had the thing. It didn't have like details. So I'm like, I'm outside at this address. Like, what's the tea here? Like, what's going on? I didn't even know how to ask. I was like, well, you know, can you tell me more about the unit kind of thing? And they're like, actually, we just sold that one. And I was like, take the fucking sign down then. But instead I said, oh, okay. And then they were like, oh, but we have like other things, you know, our like property company, whatever. So then TLDR, that led us to like their website with their listings. And they had what ended up becoming our apartment there. And we got to like look at it. And we like also got lucky. And these are the kind of things you kind of only get from like boots on the ground, like trying stuff out. What it looked like online, it looked different in person, but it actually looked better in person. It was renovated from the online photos to actually make it a better listing. And something that wasn't communicated in the listing is that they had like 2 apartments, like the one that we took and then one above. Now, like the dude, it was funny because the dude allegedly was like, the one above is like even better. And I was like, oh, wow. And then I looked above, I was like, no, it's not. Like just for what we like. Maybe other people, the sink was bigger and stuff, but like we much preferred the lower one. So we went with the lower one. But those are all things that like we kind of only got by like digging deep in the weeds and taking a shot. And like these are apartments that now in retrospect looking at, there are some listings at like the major kind of aggregate places, like, you know, we use Trulia and apartments.com, and like those listings do come up, but like we had searched and like didn't see them. So I don't know, like something, I can't explain that algorithmically on why that was, but yeah, definitely. I think just drive around. And then it's funny because like we're still like in the valley and looking around, it's like now that I have the eye for it, I see like the signs everywhere all the time. And a lot of times, like if there's a sign on one property, there's a sign on like another property not too far by. Sometimes that's because they're owned by the same person. Sometimes like the block's just hot. This springtime, like coming out of winter, is a very popular time to move. Which I think also makes it a popular time for rentals and like wanting to get bodies in now that things have thawed over, even though it never snows here. But, you know, metaphorically, the ice has melted kind of thing. So, yeah, that was the saga of getting here and getting the place and thinking it over and all that. And, yeah, it's awesome. It has a bunch of hall closet storage, like 3 different types of hall closets. I think that's kind of the main thing. Like, there's like more cabinet storage, I think, too. There's a pantry in the kitchen.
More cabinet, yeah, pantry. There's the even though we're down to 1 bedroom, the bedroom closet is bigger inherently because the bedroom is bigger. So like there's,
and it's got like an inner shelf in there that they made, too, which is nice.
There's a dedicated, like a separated kitchen living room. Like the kitchen is its own zone, and the dining table is in its own zone, and then the living room is its own zone. Like, the zoned spaces are separate.
We've gotten
not
in
just
the
one
zone.
Big thing.
The
Yeah,
auto zone.
Yeah. So, you know, I think overall is an improvement, and it's also a lot cheaper. That's gonna be something you can't really overstate. Like every month we are inherently just compounding our savings by having moved than if we just stayed where we were.
It was a funny thing where like looking at like the numbers of it and you doing the math of like, here's how different the savings is based on like a monthly rent, where it's like, okay, $1,500 over 12 months versus $2,000 over 12 months. This is how like significant it is. But if we're here for 24, this is how significant it is. And then like looking at that, those kinds of numbers against like the kind of debt we have, and then thinking, okay, well then if this is what we're saving, like this is how long it would take to, you know, pay off this bill or whatever, it was kind of an interesting way to like look at it as well. And yeah, like we, you know, again, lose some things, like we don't have central air. We don't have the unit, like you said, but there's an on-site, and there's a laundromat not too far, which is nice. In case the on-site gets really gross or explodes or something, you know, you don't know what's going to happen in there. Hopefully not while I'm in there or whatever. But yeah, like, and we still have our parking spot, which is one of your non-negotiables, which makes sense. You have a car, you need a place to put it. But yeah, like as usual, this is not news. The less non-negotiables you have, the easier it is to find a place, and usually the better your price point can get, because it's like those amenities are part of what like makes places cost more. Yeah. So
there's also some come ups. Like this place has a pool, you know, like
the pool is a come up, even though you think it's too cold.
It was cold the day we tried to go in there, or we did go in there.
Yeah, I've been in there. I've been in there like twice.
It's a pool.
I'm checking the weather every day to look for those heat.
the heat waves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's still gated kind of access. You get some security, you know, stuff there and everything like that. You know, the last place we had, like, it had like kind of gated parking and everything like that, which is, you know, nice just inherently. I'm always wary of like being in big cities of like street parking, just because you never know, someone can just be having a bad day, walking around, smash a window, see something that they think is in there, you know, like there's a little bit of just
also it's just
security.
A pain to have to find parking every time.
Also it's just a pain, especially in
and you've lived that life before,
like,
when we were with my family, because we only had the like one or two
we had one spot.
And 3 people had cars, so it's like, okay, obviously
you're changing the car for street cleaning, you're making sure, oh, did I park on the wrong side, oh no, okay, cool, I can't park down. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that ever again.
Which like that's fair. I'm good with that. You know, you've been driving me around for how many years? It's like you can get whatever you want. Like And that I feel like it also isn't like too hard to find, especially up in the valley. If you're living somewhere like Koreatown or something, that's going to be a lot harder to come
I hear
by.
That's really terrible there, yeah. But
yeah, if not impossible. Some places also like really upcharge for that. Like they charge the parking as well, so it's just included. I feel like, I hate when people charge. Just make the rent higher. And I know I hate the scam rents. Like you'll see that a lot too. Something I would advise people to do, especially in bigger cities, is to like ask about like kind of additional fees. Like, are there any additional? Because like sometimes people will be like, you know, I'll make it up. Rent's only $19.50, and then it's like, oh, but there was like $30 here, $50 here. It's like, okay, well, rent's actually like $21, but y'all don't want to do that because you don't want to get filtered out. So you snuck in a fake lower rent when every month I am going to be paying like way more. So that was a frustrating aspect of the experience too, that I encourage people to watch out for. And I feel like that's more common at lower price points, because they're trying to like have the illusion of like, no, we're affordable, sort of question mark.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So that's a little frustrating. On the note of money, them unexpected expenses, I'm still feeling them. I'm still buying stuff. I can't stop. I'm like, I'm out of control.
I feel like as far as a move goes,
it's the wedding part too, where I'm like, we just keep buying things. We'll call on the wash.
I don't think we've bought that many unplanned, unexpected purchases. Like some stuff we knew we were gonna have to do, right? The moving truck, boxes, tape, packaging things, like that kind of stuff. I went in knowing that was gonna be there.
The food.
The food
got me.
I'm curious for you. What I guess the biggest thing that I didn't expect going into this was the fridge. We had to buy a fridge for our new place. They offered, which is honestly kind of the most janky part about this new place, is they offered a fridge, because legally now you have to offer a fridge in
new to LA,
or maybe all of California, but at least LA. But the fridge they offer, there's no rule to the size of the fridge. So the fridge they offered is like a little mini fridge, like a dorm size fridge kind of thing. And I was like, you know what? I'll still take it. I want you to give me that fridge because that's my right. And I'll just buy a full size fridge and we'll just use this fridge you give us for drinks.
Which also,
honestly, it's kind of working out.
I love drink fridge. Like it's not as cool as having like the iconic American drink fridge, which is like in the garage or whatever. But like, it's pretty nice. I like it a lot. I don't think the landlord company listens to this podcast, but honestly, fuck you guys for not giving a real fridge. Like that's like one of those clear things where it's like, it's clear what you're doing. You are abiding by the law at the most bare minimum. Anyone who exists knows that, like, let me come in your fucking house. I know you don't have a fucking mini fridge that you're living out of, bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's a fuck you fridge. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Uno reverse. Yeah, give me the fridge. I'm glad that we have that because it is our right as tenants. So I forgot the unexpected expenses. So the fridge. I think just like for me, the dining out got crazy. So that was a lot. I like where we landed. which was just go to the grocery store and get tamales that are like heated and made, and that's dinner. And then like lunch, we can kind of just like breakfast and lunch, we can just kind of struggle. But like, it was definitely like it's funny because one of my dreams, if I was like literally rich, it would be like, oh, I'm dining all the time. Mm-hmm. I kind of got tired after a while. I'm not gonna lie. And granted, we weren't eating in we weren't eating in luxury either. It was just like the kind of food we normally get. It's like, what if we just kind of kept getting that, pizzas and tacos and burgers and whatever. But I'm like, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Every day we gotta go and forage. Maybe it would be. I guess it would be different if I was literally rich, because then I could just have more variety. I guess
just pay for the variety. Yeah.
Yeah, but and it's like, oh, every day we're spending like $50+ to eat dinner. It's like, this is crazy.
Up very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, we really only made it like 3 days like that before we were like, let's just go to the grocery store, which like I was more than happy with. It was plenty tasty and plenty affordable. But I think nothing crazy, but a couple little things. I mean, we bought like some stuff for like my setup, your setup, like now that they're like separated. Yeah. Just like a lot of little things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
nothing too
we
crazy,
lucked out in I'm gonna pat myself on the back of like the tech that I did hold on to from like, the last like 1 or 2 moves ended up coming into play here a good amount, because like we had a lot, like, yes, we did buy some things for our setups, but we would have bought a lot more if we were both starting from scratch. You know what I mean? Yeah. And even with that being said, now that we had both our setups kind of like done and finished, and like, my desk, your desk, blah, 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 I was able to then get rid of a lot of stuff, because it's like, all right, cool. Like, now, like, I was able to do a clean. This move was a good excuse to go through and get rid of the duplicate HDMI cables that we have that are like 50 feet long, because we needed them for the studio to run to the big TV or something like that, or the monitor or something like that. And it's like, well, you don't need that now. And if we ever do need that, we'll just buy it again. Like, it was therapeutic spring cleaning tech wise and cable wise for me, that you just don't really have many reasons or opportunities to do. So I benefited from that a lot.
Yeah. Not to be like, me too, but like my constant decluttering kind of finally felt like it had a purpose. Because it's like, oh, I don't really have much left to get rid of, because I'm kind of keep it pretty tight ship for most of my stuff. But yeah, it was nice to get rid of more things.
Man, speaking of getting rid of, it was rough emotionally trying to get rid of the new space. Yeah, we no longer have, as much as we love double TV living room, we just do not have the space for it in the new layout of our living room.
Double TV living room will return, but not at this apartment.
One day. Yeah. And so we ended up having to just get rid of really 2 TVs, because we had one for the studio and then one that was the double TV in the living room. The studio one, which is inherently smaller, we were able to give away to your brother Edwin. Just a
fan of the show,
a net come up.
Shout out.
Yeah. He like showed us like it in his room, and it's like, man, I would have loved to have a TV that size in my room when growing up, or
when you were
really
a kid,
at any
like
point.
Edwin.
Yeah. But then the other like big, 65-inch TV that we had in the living room, we also needed to get rid of that. And we tried to give this TV away to so many people. We tried to give it away to some of our old neighbors. There's like 2 of our old neighbors. They would come by, they'd take a look at it. Oh, it's actually too big. Oh, I can't fit it. Oh, somebody else would come. Oh man, let me go measure my room and see if it can stay. Oh, I can't. My desk.
The second motherfucker started measuring,
dresser isn't long enough.
I was like, yeah. We're fucked now.
And what we ended up doing was eventually getting it to the new kind of apartment complex and just putting it out for free. Just put a little free works great little sign on it in the like shared common area. We did that at like 11 o'clock at night. By like 9 o'clock the next morning, it was gone. So
God bless.
Yeah. Somebody came up on a really good big TV, and I am just thankful that we did not have to throw it in the trash.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't want to throw it away, and like I know there's like lots of solutions. Like you can donate it somewhere, you can put it on. Like it's so big that it's a pain to move around, and like you just have like a regular. I know your Tesla's a Model 3, but like what's the type of car it is? Like it's
just like a sedan. Yeah,
I thought it was sedan, but you just have a sedan. It's like at least like my brother has like
an SUV kind of more.
I'm like, it's not a truck because it doesn't have a bed, but like. But he has a bigger car that helped a lot with the move, so shout out to him. Hopefully the TV feels like some compensation for the pain of moving. Like you have this with the big moving truck day, and then a little bit after, just having a bigger car. Like even just moving that thing around was like difficult. So like, don't at me with your solutions because we're in tears.
It's too late. Yeah.
And also we like got it done. Like that was the point. Like in an ideal world, I mean, we would have like tried to sell it for like not a lot because it's an old TV. So, but like it would have been nice to get $50 for it, you know, $100 for it. But you know, I don't know, man. You know, it's like you got so much stuff going on. There's also another thing where it's like here, I've mentioned this before, but in LA specifically, maybe a lot of other places, I don't know. The moving happens just like all the time. It's not like an end of the month, first of the month kind of scenario that's not standardized. People just like go in and out at random. So like once we like got moving on this and said, boom, we want this place, it's like, cool, it's ready like tomorrow basically. And now it's just like a dash to, you know, and we're lucky that we could have enough like to afford to not have to like super min-max it. Like we were, you know, halfway through the month at like our old place, moving into the new place, and had some time to like clean it out and like, you know, have people reject the TV and stuff like that. But like that still isn't a lot of time, especially combined with work. We're lucky that I have like my freelance job, which is very flexible in terms of like when am I actually on and need to be like literally working versus having like the freedom to do whatever. And I used a lot of that time to be like, when I wasn't just working, I would just be like cleaning, moving stuff around, doing all of that. But we got it done. Like the other unexpected expenses, I feel like just little things here and there that like I'm sure add up. You know, I'll go on record and say I bought that cart again, that 3-tiered cart that every bitch has.
Oh yeah,
because I want to make my cleaning cart. Like just like tiny little things, you know, cables here and there. Even stuff like, you know, earlier today, we have a MagSafe tripod, and I think you're going to use that at your desk setup. And I'm like, well, I want my own one. So boom, that's one there. Then I'm thinking, oh, let me get this other thing while I'm in there. And you're like, oh, let's get this third thing. Like, and I don't think there's anything necessarily inherently wrong with that, but it is the kind of thing where like none of that would happen if we were at our old place, because the old place had old vibes, old idea. Like it's all just kind of different, even though it is still just like, it's us and our stuff in a new apartment. Like, why does that have to change anything? It's like, it's just natural, I think, to want to tweak little things. Or like we bought like a dresser, like to get rid of our old ones to like save space.
That's true.
It's like, that's an expense, you know, like, so it's nothing too crazy.
Bookshelf we bought.
Yes. But I'm sure if we added it all up,
it'd be a couple
that first month we ain't saving, you know.
No.
I think it's more a couple hundred, but you know, it's not like, and it's nothing crazy. I don't think it was like $5,000 or anything, but I think it was like, it was climbing up there. It was cutting into them savings. And that's just stuff that like, it's hard to anticipate that kind of stuff because it's very like dependent on what the space is, what your new needs end up becoming.
We could have easily also slow rolled some of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, and just made do with what we had and literally spent nothing. But
I had suffered and I wanted to have a treat. That's the other thing too.
We more wanted to like rip the Band-Aid off, you know?
After a lot of like work, if you can afford it, which so luckily we can, or at least we can pay for it. I mean, we can't afford but we can pay for it. It's like, you know what? Let's get a couple niceties. Let's have a little like thing to enjoy and make the spot a little more enjoyable. But it's hard not to. You get a little taste of treating yourself, and it's hard not to take it too far. I'm just now finally, much like Slay the Spire, it's like I'm coming off of spending. I'm like, okay, I've just been buying. I'm not fully done yet because I do have a couple. You know, we have a couple things in the cart now, and I'm running out of my conditioner and things like that. So it's like, oh, I'll just get a couple last minute things, but not too bad. It's not going to change necessarily us putting out shows, but new or temp layout for the Gangcast. What are you thinking from a production standpoint? Like, what are we doing right now for those who are only listening? And then what might we do in the future?
Yeah. So, you know, with moving, you kind of get a new space. And with a new space, you need to do like a new setup for production, recording, and streaming and everything like that. Hopefully, audio listeners, you don't recognize anything different. Like, in theory, this should just be the same. Like, for you, for video listeners, we are no longer kind of together on a couch. We're now in our own separate spaces, and probably end up doing, you'll be seeing it now, some sort of like side by side or kind of like, you know, chat room type layout where we're on screen together. I'm going to play around probably the next couple episodes experimenting with what works, what doesn't, what's, you know, maintain some sort of level of sanity when editing and making it so that like it's not going to be this just daunting task every episode. And you know, the pros of doing a live recording together with one video is that that's inherently just one, you know, half the work of editing when you only have one feed that you need to look at. So, you know, we'll be experimenting and figuring things out there. But we also had the thought of doing some, you know, with this new space, kind of accounting for doing some like streams together in the living room, which we never did at the old spot. One, because again, the back of the living room was just the kitchen, and it's inherently a little weird. Like if someone walks through the, you know, if Edwin's over, if Bruce, like, I don't know, breaks something or knocks something over, like there's a lot more you just need to kind of account for when your background is not just like a wall or a static image kind of thing. But now with the living room setup we could totally just stream in our living room and not have to worry about that. Like focus, hone in on what the camera sees and can do some cool production stuff there. We just got to figure out, you know, the cable management, the mic situation, lighting, things like little, they sound like very important things, and they are important, but like these like little last touches of things we need to still just figure out. But it's totally something we could do and work on and iterate on. So yeah, new setup. I think for you're kind of going back to what you had before, right? Where even, you know, when we were in the family apartment, you streamed and worked from our room. You know, you had a mic set up similar to this where you did all your shows at the desk and everything like that, especially during the pandemic. So I think for you, this is a lot more of just like a returning to your roots kind of thing. But, you know, hopefully it's not too crazy. Hopefully it feels familiar. Hopefully it's nicer than what you had before, just because of, you know, better tech and bigger desk and more space and better lighting and cameras and mics and everything like that. But if not, hey, yeah, we'll keep iterating.
I think it's a little less like, I think the spot I had in our family apartment, as we've dubbed it, was a little bit tighter, like in terms of space to wheel out to the back. It also just had more stuff in it. Like I had the classic IKEA Kallax shelf back there with a bunch of stuff on it. Now I just have the two pegboards. It's funny, we kind of split the Gangcast, and of course I got more of the pegboards. I got the two, the pink and the green, and you have the blue one, which might, you know, depending on how you crop, I don't know how visible your stuff will be or not. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like, it's funny because I say this line all the time, which is like, has no one thought of it because no one thought of it, or it's not, or it's like a bad idea. I don't think our studio setup was a bad idea, but I do think there are benefits and niceties to being at a desk where it's like I'm here and I have the Discord window and I have like my notes. Like, well, before, if I had my notes visible in like near the camera, it would have to be because it was cast to a TV from my laptop, which isn't like bad, but it is like kind of an extra step for something that like we've kind of already like solved in a way. So it kind of added complexities to the setup. And then there's other like niceties, like you got me the little like Rode X, and would you call this a mixer?
The streamer interface.
Yeah. So it's like cool, just like, oh, I can now mute like the mic itself, not necessarily just like my video feed, which is great for like remap. Again, behind the scenes, like I record on Audacity, and even though like that show is heavily edited by usually Chia, sometimes other people, that's not a problem. Like if I cough on the track, it doesn't matter. But it's like, oh, it's nice that now I can just kind of mute on there and it'll mute on everything. Yeah, and I think I've learned a lot over the years about how to like avoid some, I'll call them negative tendencies. Like I like my stuff. I enjoy having a lot of crap. I like cute crap, plushies, memorabilia. I think you're like that less so with like the plushies and stuff, but you have your things you like too. Like we both have. If we took all of our decor, I'd have way more, but like you'd have, you know, a bunch of Funko Pops and DVDs and like
100%
toys and things, you know, and I have the same deal. It's like realizing that, especially when you don't have like a home, like a house, less is more. Like you don't have endless space to decorate. So like now I just have like but I still want to have a little bit of fun. So it's like, how do I have that? And it's like, I got a little lava lamp because I used to like having that in San Francisco. I have the Ditto, the Ditto Gengar that we got at the Pokemon, the Nintendo store in San Francisco. And that's like kind of all I have for decor. Yeah. Our friends. I might make my desk a little bit better. That I am going to wait for. Like, I want to have a more fun, like, desk mat. I might switch up my chair. It's funny because I used to have that pink chair that I really liked. But then, like, TLDR, we went down to, like, we had 2 chairs. They were both for you. And you chose the non-pink one, which I understand. But I'm like, ugh. And also, I mean, they're both kind of similarly comfortable. So I think they're pretty competitive. But it's like, oh, maybe I'd get a different chair at one point, even though I'm happy with the comfort of this one. But it would be nice to have something maybe like more visually appealing since it's on camera now in a way that it wasn't before.
I'll tell you, I'll take that Secret Labs chair if you end up moving away from it, man. I love that chair.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm not in a rush because that is something I would want to slow roll because we've spent enough money on things. Like, especially this, like, I have something for this. It's fine. But yeah, I've been liking it. I'm more happy with how the lighting looks in this setup for the most part because it is just so much closer to me and like lighting a smaller space that it's easier for it to be like satisfactory. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Like, I don't really have much I feel like the need to fuss with. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. The real thing will just be having to see. I would love to get a living room set up specifically for our joint streams. I think for streaming, I still probably will stay here because it would be a lot of work to like set up and tear down like the living room all the time. But maybe just for like Gangcast streams, the American Heart Association stream, and then maybe we just keep this as a local remote podcast. But yeah, things are going good. Really enjoying the apartment. It has been reported as being cozy by my brother Edwin, who listens to the show. It's like it's cozier than like, and he means that positively, not like it's small. Because actually, it's bigger than the old apartment, which is crazy because it's less bedrooms and bathrooms. Yeah, it's bigger. So like that kind of gives you a sense of like the spaces that are there are a bit more appealing than like the spaces that were at the other place because they were the square footage was spread more thin. Yeah, because it had more rooms in a way. But yeah, it just has like a nice homey feel to it. With how things are zoned out. And you had the great idea of putting what do they call it? The PlayStation 3D TV? Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah. The PlayStation 3D monitor, I think it was, or 3D display, something. It wasn't a TV. It's not a TV. It's
My bad.
Display.
Yeah. I didn't mean to offend the PlayStation community.
I don't want Mr. Sony coming in here, breaking down the door.
But yeah, you put that, you had the idea of putting that in the kitchen, which you were kind of looking for a space for it. And, you know, you had set it up at first, like on one of the calyxes. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. And you're like, what about here in the kitchen? And I was like, you might be onto something there. And then we had the other Apple TV from back in the studio setup where we were using the Apple TVs. And the second I turned on the Apple TV on the PlayStation 3D display, a wave of nostalgia hit me. And I love it. I'm obsessed with that little tiny display. I think it's so
good,
cool.
Right?
It makes me sad I don't cook. When I make, I said I was going to make those sandwiches this weekend. I'm going to put the fucking TV on, even though it's like, I don't even have shit to watch. But like, it's so like, I think that adds to the cozy vibe. I know it's going to sound like very weird to be like, TVs make things cozy. But like, the kitchen TV is such a like, something like your aunt or your grandma would have kind of vibe. Like it's such like an older adult thing that like, yeah, it's like you're waiting for your, I don't know, your aunt to make the soup and the 3D TV is playing, the 3D monitor is playing in the background. Yeah, I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts to unearth on this new chapter in our lives in this new apartment? I miss having space for the projector that we had above our bed. So that's something I could see us adding because I miss that. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that'll work with the new room just because the
we would
closet
need to get a
mirror door is like so massive. We would need to get a screen. I mean the biggest qualms and issues that I think at least I have with the space is stuff that we've more or less have started to find fixes and solves for, which is like the lighting is a little weird, right? Where there's actually very little, like there's no ceiling lights in the living room,
or
nor
bedroom.
in the bedroom. But my tech came to the rescue. We have these like, smart bulbs and stuff, as well as like smart like light switches and stuff that I was able to like just reconnect to our home network and make it so that, all right, cool, like you can just walk in and hit a button on the wall and the lights turn on. And obviously, we could benefit from more lights, especially in the bedroom. It's like there's like one IKEA lamp in the corner that we have that is not like your recording setup kind of thing. It would be nice to get at least one more of those, I think, in the bedroom. But in the living room, we have like 4 lights now that are all smart lights, all connected, and you can turn them on from your phone.
For video watchers, I'm going to cut my lights and you can see this is what our room is like. And this is with the fill in the back.
Very dark.
Turn off the fill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it kind of just looks like I'm sitting in the dark.
Yeah, which
like
are.
The light of the monitors there. Yeah, the IKEA lamp is on.
You can't tell.
No, you can't tell.
So, there's a little bit of stuff, kind of things like that.
But you love being in the dark, though, too. So how do you feel as like someone who?
Dark.
Yes, you do.
I do love the natural light. So our living room has 0 like built-in lights, but it does have this huge window and these blinds you can open up and the natural light coming in. Beautiful. Yeah. Love it.
And you can see
every
the pool
day I
from
wake
our
up and I turn
floor
it on.
And stuff. It's pretty nice.
So, so those are kind of like really just the lighting issue is kind of there for me, but we're finding solutions. There's more stuff I'm sure we could do, more smart lights, more bulbs and lamps places, and, connect all that stuff to make it work. But, nothing, I think right now we're good. Like we have a great baseline. I don't have any like desire or itchy need to do anything. Like I feel comfortable. We're moved in, we're unpacked. I feel at home. A lot quicker than I expected to be honest. So,
yay! It's funny because this took me longer than I thought it would. Like I think the one thing I want to share that I realize I haven't gotten to yet is I've moved a lot in my life. Like I did the count. It's like something like 9 times, like 9 different apartments or whatever since like I was like 17, and that made me think that I knew what moving took, and that's not counting college moves because it's like, oh, I just moved to a dorm and then moved back out. Like I had let me think. I had that first apartment we had, like me and my family, and then like from our house, then we moved into our old house to sell it, then we moved into the next place, then we moved into another place that was like down the street from that place, then I moved to San Francisco, then I moved into your place, and then we moved to the family LA place, and then we moved to the place that you and I had. So this is my 9th since I was 17.
Jeez.
Since I was 17. So I thought, I know how to fucking move. Like it sucks, but like who cares? This move knocked me on my ass because it was the first move I ever did that was just me and me after accruing a lot of things. Because when I've moved solo dolo, it was like I didn't have a lot of stuff. Like when I moved to San Francisco, I literally came with just like my carry-on suitcase and the like storage suitcase. And that suitcase wasn't even that big. And I didn't even bring like, I mostly just brought like clothes, like some shoes, barely any shoes. Honestly, I had like my running shoes and like 1 pair. And that was like it, And I was also very lucky in that like the apartment I ended up getting like it already had like a bed in it. It had like a dresser. So I just bought like an IKEA sofa and like a TV so that when my brother visited, he would be like, okay, you're not living in disarray. You have some signs of life are here. And then, I moved in with you. You had like an apartment kind of already set up. So I didn't like bring much. And I just brought the stuff I had, which was like not much at all. I remember when I went into the moving truck, it was like you, me, and Justin, our friend Justin, helping us set up. And when y'all moved my stuff in, he was like, is that it? And I was like, yep, that's everything. And like, y'all picture the back of a moving truck, like 1/5 filled.
Yeah.
That was like, it was like big enough that you couldn't put it in a car easily, but yes. Yeah.
And there was still room to like walk around in the truck. Like it was, it was bad.
Yeah. Is bad the right word? I was simple. We could have did with just like the moving van or like a moving pickup truck. You know what I mean? Like we did not need the box moving truck, like an official we
kind
overspent
of
on that. But yes, we did that. You already had stuff. So I didn't really gain a lot of stuff while we were together in what was essentially your apartment that I just moved into. So it wasn't until like, and then even I guess leaving my family too, like we had more stuff in a way, but like, you know, again, we only brought the stuff that like made sense, you know, it's kind of like team stuff, right? Where it's like, oh, we all had the table, we all had the sofa, and like some of that stuff we like, you know, spread across like our groups, but like it wasn't like we had, like you and I had like a full apartment that was like, this is all our apartment. So it's like when you look around, it's like all of this I'm responsible for. So it's like between the two of us, we have to pack all of this and unpack all of it. It's like, it can't just be like a, you know, and not that I'm like an asshole when I'm moving with other people, but it's like your clothes are your clothes. I'm not going to unpack your clothes and my clothes, you know, maybe bad example because clothes are like more obviously individualistic, but it's like, like there's more shirts. Like if you clean out a living room and you live with people, if you take all your stuff, there's still stuff in that living room. When it's just you and whoever, all of that's yours.
It's got to go.
The whole living room is so. It was so much more than I was expecting it to be, and I was like, holy hell! I also felt like jealous of people that like are more pod people based or have like non-physical hobbies. I'm like, I wish I was just into digital reading and like that was it or something. I just have shit on a fucking iPad, but it's like having all this fucking like a million little like, and we don't have a big game collection, but like the 3DSs and the DS and the PSPs and the this and the books we haven't read and then the records and the and then the record player and then the like, you know, fucking the Lego flower set that I threw in the garbage because I'm like, it doesn't fit. It's just like, yeah, it was humbling. So yeah, that I was like, this must be the moves people have been complaining about because I'm like I feel people kind of oversell it. It's not that big deal. I've done it a lot. I ain't never done it like this. I was like, wow. But now I know. I fucked around and I found out. And now when we do it again, I will understand the gravity of the situation.
Man.
Because in my head, I'm like, throw things into a couple boxes. We'll be out here in no time. It's really quick.
Nah, man. This is it. I think this is my... God willing, this will be my last move that I do. Like my next move where
that's what I'm hoping
getting movers. I'll maybe pack some of the more like fragile things, right? Like a lot of the tech I'll still box up and everything like that. But like the dishes, the books, the board games, the cat stuff, like all of that, I want someone else to take care of it. And
at the risk of being cocky again
and pay for it.
I think something that's going to help too with the next move that we have to do is some of our stuff is still in boxes, but not because we haven't unpacked it, just because there's some things where we're like, this is not going to get displayed. This is just going to be in our, like, again, we have that kind of hall closet and like a thing even higher. So we put, you know, things like a lot of that kind of like decor stuff that I mentioned that we just don't have space for. Stuff like that's there. It's hard to remember offhand now, like what's even up there, but it's like little, you know, the winter coat I almost never wear because it's not winter here, but I bought when we went to, you know, Denver or whatever. Like those things are in there. But yeah, all right. Any other things to add to our move? Don't worry, guys. We're going to be here for a little while, I hope.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think Bruce is taking a liking to the new spot pretty well. I know that's always like when you have pets, it's always kind of a bit of a roll of the dice is like, oh, well, how's the pet going to adjust? I think Bruce is like obviously Bruce, and so like when we put him in his carrier, he was kind of freaking out. But as soon as we let him out in the apartment, he, you know, no accidents, no crazy pooing or peeing anywhere or anything like that.
He acclimates pretty quickly.
He acclimated pretty
for
well,
being such a brat. So yeah. I'm surprised by that.
So I'm just thankful for that. Now we do not need to figure out a new situation for his like cat tree.
Yeah,
we have like his cat tree and litter box kind of in the same corner and stacked on top of each other kind of thing. He don't really use his cat tree anymore, and we think it's probably because it's just too close to his litter box. But
yeah, he's like, it smells like poo over there. Well, whose fault is that? But I do like what you did with the litter box, which you created like a DIY. It's not hidden because you can see it, but it's like covered now because it's like a steel one where you can like. And he's a big like eater. He'll like jump out and like drag a bunch of litter, but we have it such that it's facing the, like, he doesn't have space to get in and out, but he doesn't have enough space to like jump. So he still tracks a good amount, but he also can't track it as far with how you like set it up. So I think that was like super smart, and I love that. But yeah, I would love to find a different spot for his tree because it's sad that he doesn't use it because I know he likes his tree and it's like his little room. I think he likes it because it's the same color as his fur, which is very egomaniacal of him. But yeah, he's a good boy. I think he was also, it's funny, I think he was more stressed while we were doing all the unpacking and going back and forth, because we were more busy and moving around and not just like day to day. Usually a lot of times what we're doing is like sitting on the sofa, hanging out in the living room, chilling. Like we're very like homebody, chill people. And it's funny because like people have a cat for that. They're like, I want something around that's alive to hang out with me. He needs a cat for himself. We're his cat, is what I realized. So he's like, oh, like I'm very comforted. Like you just sit there and I sit here and we're having a good time. But I think he was maybe a little stressed from how not around we were. And now he seems very cozy, very relaxed. He's having a good time. So that is it for Not Games, which brings us to Poll of the Show.
Yeah.
Poll of the show. Last episode, we asked about your thoughts on a couple things. You wrote them down for me. Actually, I'm not realizing. What's your favorite game that you know is really only a 6 or a 7? And what's your dream car / car that you drive if money wasn't an option? What did the people have to say, Isaiah?
On the game front, we got some entries here. One that at least you know what, I'm glad that they at least acknowledge it. Jak 2. That's a standout answer.
I never said that Jak 2.
I know you're
modern
using
era,
your alt account.
I've never said it's like an amazing game. It's fun, and you can learn how to play it if you try.
To be honest, the 6 or 7 is kind of being generous for Jak 2. That game, man.
Let's not be crazy.
It was not
You're
great.
just mad because you exploded it, but it's because you don't know how to drive in Haven City.
We got Assassin's Creed Unity as another example. I know a lot of people really, really bagged that game when it came out. The Blob 1 and 2, I remember the Blob games, but I don't think I actually played them. I think they were like either on the Wii or...
I've looked at the art a lot.
Yes.
Like I keep
I've
seeing
seen this cover a billion times, but I've never actually played it. Folklore,
I hear
which I
things.
vaguely remember. Yeah. Stellar Blade, which I feel like people... I guess that is like a really good entry in this, and that like I feel like people hype it up that it's like a 8 or 9. But if they're saying that it's really only like a 6 or 7, that's honestly a fair entry. And then one other one that I found pretty funny, Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first one, 2018, which is like,
ooh, the first one, yeah, okay.
Oh man, I remember people like really liking and hyping up that game and all that you could do and how big it was and this, that, and the third. So hearing that for some people is like, it's really only like a 6 or 7. Is funny. And then on the what's your dream car / car you would drive if money wasn't an option, we got some things you'd expect, right? A Ferrari Spider, Porsche Taycan, Lamborghini Guarda. I'm probably mispronouncing that terribly. Someone put something boxy from the 80s, which I thought was a really funny answer. Somebody who resonates with me, Toyota RAV4 hybrid. I love the RAV4.
Did you write this in?
Yeah, in fact, we both have our alt accounts right in with something. As much as I love the convenience of an electric car, the second Toyota comes out with an all-electric RAV4 that is like affordable, I'm ditching Tesla, especially if we got like home charging. I'm gone because I grew up Toyota. We were a Toyota family. I've always loved the RAV4. It's like a nice, it's big enough that you can, again, move. You can put TVs in the back and move a chair or a couch or something if you need to, but it's not so huge that it's like this huge, gas guzzling truck. So electric, maybe even the hybrid, if the hybrid prices come down, would be enough for me. And then things like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, and which I very vaguely know what it is and remember seeing it. A lot of these entries all look cool, sound cool. You got some stuff that is unexpected, which is always fun to see.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen, like with the Toyota and the Hyundai, I feel like I've seen cars like this before. I do enjoy those kinds of like shapes, like the way the front of the Hyundai looks is nice. I'm with you with the like, there's so many hybrids, but it's like, give me more full electric. And I kind of get, I guess, like why people don't do it, because it's like hard to, it's like less marketable in a way, right? It's like, oh, well, it's like, and then people still, I think, have a lot of
it's hard to transition full electric for a lot of folks.
Yeah, and people have a lot of hangups about the electric car. I mean, even with like literally just the car part of it, not the, Elon Musk of it all. Like people always like ask me like, isn't it annoying to have to charge it though? And again, it's funny because it's kind of like it's a negative for this episode where we're complaining about having to charge it somewhere else. But like the charging itself doesn't take that long. Like people act like you're in that thing for like 90 minutes, like charging your car. It's not that serious to charge it. And yeah, it's been really fun having an electric car. It'd be great to have one that didn't feel like you were driving around like a hate crime slightly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would love to feel good about that.
One day.
Yeah, maybe one day. I don't know. Sell it to somebody. Sell it to anybody. Well, not anybody.
Literally
God.
anyone.
Maybe not anybody.
I guess you're right.
The monkey's paw. The monkey's paw.
Oh
Tesla. Owned by Saudi Arabia. Like,
oh God. No.
Bezos's Tesla. Oh my God. Anyway, let's not think of even all the ways things could get worse.
Every time you charge your car, you can make Prime orders for free or something like that.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. They're doing or something. But yeah, that was funsies. The little like seeing people's options and write-ins. So thank you guys for writing in. And what do we have going on for this week's poll of the show that people can look forward to?
This week we're going to be asking, do you think an early access game should be considered for awards? We talked a bit about Slay the Spire 2 and how technically it is not out, but it is available for purchase and you can play it and it feels pretty meaty. So
I think we know where Isaiah lands on this.
yeah. Curious to know the folks' thoughts and opinions on it.
Another J versus Zay poll. I love it.
Yeah. And then when was the last time you moved? How'd it go? Did you get movers? Just kind of curious to know in this era of us moving apartments, just curious to know how the community is and what you guys have recently done.
Nice. And that is it for this week. You can send us your questions and topics to the email inbox at GamesAndNotGames.com. You can follow the podcast version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. If you enjoy the show, be sure to give us that 5-star rating.
5 stars.
Cinco dimentes.
And if you're an audio listener, remember that you can get the video version over on YouTube at GamesAndNotGames. If you like the video, be sure to leave us a like as it helps us get the show in front of more people. Give us a follow on social media. We're pretty much everywhere at GamesAndNotGames. That's mainly BlueSKy, TikTok, Twitch, and Backloggd. And anything else?
I think that's everything.
Gang.
Gang.
Base.